The Crimson Cafe smelled of espresso and secrets. Emily sat in the corner booth, fingers wrapped around a cup she hadn't touched. Rain streaked the windows, blurring the afternoon traffic into abstract watercolors. She checked her phone. 3:07 p.m. Whoever had sent that message was late. The cafe door chimed. A woman entered, shaking rain from a crimson umbrella that matched the name of the establishment with eerie precision. She was beautiful in a dangerous way. Dark hair pulled back severe, eyes like polished obsidian. Lips painted the color of wine stains. She walked directly to Emily's table and sat without asking. "Mrs. Blackwood, thank you for coming." Emily's throat tightened. "Who are you?" "Someone who knows what you don't." The woman placed a manila envelope on the table between them. "My name is Vivien Cross. I was engaged to Nathan before you were." The world tilted. Emily gripped the edge of the table, the wood grain biting into her palms. "That's impossible. I would have known." Vivian's smile was sharp. "Would you? Did Nathan ever tell you about his life before the contract? Before you became a transaction?" Emily's silence was answer enough. Vivien pushed the envelope closer. "Open it." With trembling hands, Emily pulled out photographs. Nathan, younger, laughing in a way she'd never seen. His arm around Vivien at what looked like a rooftop party. Another photo of them dancing. Another of them kissing beneath string lights. He looked happy. Genuinely, devastatingly happy. "We were together for 2 years, Vivien said, her voice soft with something that might have been grief. "He wanted to marry me. His mother refused." "Why?" "Because I came from nothing. No legacy, no connections, no useful last name to leverage." Vivian's fingers traced the rim of her untouched coffee cup. "Olivia Blackwood decided I wasn't worthy of her son, so she made him a deal." Emily's stomach dropped. "What kind of deal?" "End things with me. Marry someone appropriate, and she'd give him full control of Blackwood Industries 5 years early. Financial independence, freedom from his father's shadow, everything he'd ever wanted." Vivian's eyes met Emily's. Nathan chose power over love. The betrayal wasn't Emily's, but she felt it anyway. Felt it for this woman whose heart had been traded like stock. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you need to understand who you married. Nathan Blackwood destroys everything he touches. He broke me. And now, Emily, he's going to break you too." "I'm already broken," Emily whispered. "This marriage destroyed me 3 years ago." "No." Vivien leaned forward, urgent. "You're cracked, not shattered. There's a difference. But if you stay, if you let him in even a little, he'll finish the job." Emily stared at the photographs, at Nathan's smile, at the ghost of the man he might have been before ambition carved out his heart. "He asked me to the Eastgate Gala," she said. Vivien went very still. "When?" "This morning. For the first time, he looked at me like I was real. That's how it starts." Vivian's voice dropped to barely a whisper. "He pulls you close enough to feel hope. Then he reminds you why you should never have hoped at all. It's a game to him, a way to ease his guilt. Then why warn me? If he destroyed you, why help his wife?" Vivien stood, gathering her umbrella. The rain outside had become a downpour, hammering against the windows like fists demanding entry. "Because 3 years ago no one warned me, and I want you to have what I didn't." "What's that?" Vivian's hand rested on the back of the chair, knuckles white. "A choice." She turned to leave, then stopped. "One more thing, Emily. That night, the night Nathan proposed to you. Do you remember where he was the day before?" Emily's mind raced back through the fog of memory. The hospital, her father's room, the machines that beeped like countdown timers. Nathan had appeared like salvation in a $1,000 suit. He came to the hospital. Emily said slowly. He offered to pay for everything. The treatments, the surgeries, all of it. If I married him. He was with me that morning, Vivien said, voice hollow. He told me he loved me. He said we'd find a way to make it work, his family be damned. Then he left. 6 hours later, he was at your father's bedside with a contract. The cafe seemed to spin. Emily's hands went cold. His mother gave him an ultimatum that same day, Vivien continued. Marry appropriately within the month, or lose everything. He chose the path of least resistance. A dying man's daughter, desperate enough to say yes. No messy feelings. No risk of actual love. Emily couldn't breathe. He used my father's death as an opportunity. He used both of us. Vivien's reflection in the rain-streaked window looked like a ghost. The question is, what are you going to do about it? The door chimed as Vivien left, the crimson umbrella disappearing into the storm. Emily sat alone with the photographs scattered across the table. Nathan's smile mocked her from glossy paper. Her phone buzzed. Nathan, don't forget. Friday, 7 p.m. Wear something that doesn't make me look like I married a ghost. Her hands shook as she typed back. Emily, we need to talk when you get home. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Nathan, I'm listening. Emily looked at Vivien's photographs one last time, then carefully placed them back in the envelope. She stood, leaving money on the table for the coffee she'd never drunk. The rain soaked through her coat the moment she stepped outside, cold and cleansing. She had spent 3 years being the perfect ghost, the perfect transaction. Tonight, she would become something far more dangerous. Tonight, she would become real. The marble floors of the Blackwood mansion held no warmth. Emily had learned this 3 years ago on her first morning as Mrs. Nathan Blackwood. Now, standing in the foyer with rain dripping from her coat, she felt the cold seep into her bones like a prophecy coming true. Nathan's car pulled into the driveway at exactly 6:47 p.m., 17 minutes earlier than usual. The door opened. He stood there in his tailored suit, phone in hand, gray eyes scanning her like she was a problem to be solved. Then he saw her face. What happened? Emily held up the manila envelope. I met Vivien Cross today. The color drained from his face. For the first time in 3 years, Nathan Blackwood looked afraid. Emily, don't. She stepped back when he moved toward her. Don't say my name like it means something. Where did you see her? Does it matter? Emily's voice cracked. Is any of it true? Were you with her the morning you proposed to me? Nathan's jaw tightened. He closed the door behind him with controlled precision, the kind of control that came from years of burying emotion beneath ice. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Emily threw the envelope at his feet. Photographs spilled across the marble like accusations. Tell me you didn't use my dying father as an escape route from the woman you actually loved. I didn't love her. Liar. The word tasted like blood. Nathan bent down, gathering the photographs with hands that shook almost imperceptibly. When he stood, his face was a mask she'd never seen before. Something raw. Something broken. You want the truth? His voice was quiet, lethal. Fine. Yes. I was with Vivien that morning. Yes, my mother gave me an ultimatum. And yes, I chose you because it was easier. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Easier than what? Than fighting for something I knew she'd destroy anyway. Nathan's fingers crushed the photograph of him and Vivien dancing. My mother would have ruined her. Blacklisted her from every job, every opportunity. Vivien came from nothing, Emily. She had nothing to fight back with. At least you had something I could save. So you sacrificed her to save me? Emily's laugh was hollow. How noble. I sacrificed both of you to save myself. The admission fell between them like shattered glass, and I've been paying for it every single day since. Emily stared at him, at the man who'd been a stranger for 3 years, at the cracks forming in his armor. "Why now?" she whispered. "Why ask me to the gala? Why look at me this morning like I mattered?" Nathan set the photographs on the entryway table. When he turned back to her, his eyes were storms barely contained. "Because I'm tired of pretending you don't." The air between them crackled with something dangerous. "You don't get to do this," Emily said, voice shaking. "You don't get to spend 3 years treating me like expensive furniture and then suddenly decide I'm human. I know. You don't get to make me hope. I know." "Then why?" She stepped closer, fury and heartbreak warring in her chest. "Why now, Nathan? What changed?" He looked at her like he was seeing her for the first time, like he'd been blind, and suddenly the world had come into focus. "You stopped trying to make me love you." The words hit her like a physical blow. Emily's hands clenched into fists. "I never tried to make you love me. I tried to survive you." "Exactly." Nathan's voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "For 3 years you've been quiet. Compliant. Everything I thought I wanted in this arrangement. Then this morning, you looked at me like you'd rather be anywhere else. And I realized I'd spent 3 years killing the only real thing in my life. I'm not real to you. I'm a contract. You stopped being a contract the moment you said yes." He moved closer, and Emily forced herself not to retreat. "You became the reminder of every choice I was too coward to make. Every person I hurt to get what I wanted. Every piece of myself I sold." "That's not love, Nathan. That's guilt." "Maybe they're the same thing." Emily's breath caught. "They're not." "Then tell me what love is, Emily. Because I don't think I know anymore." She wanted to hate him. Wanted to walk out the door and never look back. But standing here, seeing him vulnerable for the first time, she understood something terrible. She was just as trapped as he was. Just as broken. "Love is choosing someone even when it costs you everything," she said finally. "You chose power. You chose safety. You didn't choose me, and you didn't choose her. I'm choosing now. It's too late." "Is it?" Nathan reached out, his hand hovering near her face but not quite touching. "Because you're still here. You could have left 100 times, but you stayed. I stayed because I had nowhere else to go. Liar." His thumb brushed her cheek, and Emily hated how her body betrayed her, leaning into the touch she'd been starving for. "You stayed because part of you wanted to believe this could be real." "Don't." But she didn't pull away. Emily. Her name on his lips sounded like prayer and confession. "Come to the gala with me. Not as an obligation. Not as part of the contract. Come with me because you want to." "Why would I want that?" "Because I'm going to tell them." Nathan's eyes held hers with an intensity that made her knees weak. "Everyone who matters, every person in that room, I'm going to tell them that I married you under false pretenses, that I used you, and that somewhere in the past 3 years, this stopped being an arrangement and became the only thing I've ever done right." Emily's heart hammered against her ribs. "You'll lose everything. Your mother will never forgive you. The board will question your judgment. I know. She'll take the company back. Let her." "Nathan." Emily's voice broke. "You destroyed 2 lives for that company. You destroyed yourself for it. You can't just throw it away. Watch me." The conviction in his voice terrified her. This wasn't the man she'd married. This was someone desperate. Someone dangerous. "This is another game," she said, pulling back. "Another way to ease your guilt. Then call my bluff." Nathan's hand dropped to his side. "Come to the gala. Watch me burn everything I built. And if you still think I'm playing, walk away. I won't stop you." Emily's phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out with shaking hands. Unknown number. A text message with a single line and an attachment. "Unknown. He's lying to you. Check the attachment. This is what he did to me. Don't let him do it to you." Her blood turned to ice as she opened the image. It was a legal document. A contract, dated 3 weeks ago. A prenuptial modification agreement, signed by Nathan, giving Emily nothing if she left before 5 years, locking her in for 2 more years. She looked up at Nathan, and his face told her everything. He'd seen the text over her shoulder. "Emily, I can explain. You changed our contract." Her voice was hollow. 3 weeks ago, without telling me. It's not what you think. You trapped me. The betrayal was a knife between her ribs. While you were planning this grand confession, this noble sacrifice, you made sure I couldn't leave. I was protecting you. From what? Nathan's face crumbled. From me, from this. I knew if I started letting you in, I'd destroy you like I destroyed Vivien. The modification ensures you're financially secure even if I ruin everything. It's not a trap. It's a safety net. You don't get to make that choice for me. I'm trying to do the right thing. By lying? Emily's hands shook. How many more secrets, Nathan? How many more half-truths and manipulations before you actually treat me like an equal? I don't know how. The admission was raw, desperate. I don't know how to do this without breaking everything I touch. Emily looked at the man in front of her. The man who'd saved her father and destroyed her heart. The man who was both her prison and her key. Then maybe you shouldn't be doing this at all. She turned toward the stairs. Toward the bedroom that had never felt like home. Emily. Wait. She stopped but didn't turn around. The gala is in 5 days. I'll be there. I'll play the perfect wife one more time. And then, Nathan, you're going to let me go. No modifications. No contracts. No more cages. And if I say no? Emily finally looked back at him. Then I'll make sure everyone at that gala knows exactly what kind of man you really are. Every secret. Every lie. Everything. Nathan's face went pale. You wouldn't. Try me. The silence between them was a living thing, sharp and suffocating. Finally, Nathan nodded. 5 days. After the gala, you're free. I'll have my lawyers draw up the papers. Emily climbed the stairs without another word, leaving Nathan standing alone in the foyer, surrounded by photographs of a life he'd destroyed for power he no longer wanted. In her bedroom, Emily locked the door and pulled out her phone. She deleted the unknown number's message, then opened a new text to Vivien Cross. Emily, you were right. But I'm not leaving yet. I have a plan. 3 dots appeared. Vivien. What kind of plan? Emily looked at herself in the mirror. At the ghost she'd become. At the woman she was about to be. Emily. The kind that makes sure neither of us stays broken. The abandoned warehouse in the industrial district smelled of rust and rain. Emily stood in the doorway, heart hammering, second-guessing everything that had led her here. Vivien emerged from the shadows, her crimson coat a slash of color against gray concrete. You came. You said you had something that could help me. Emily stepped inside, the door creaking shut behind her. What is it? Vivien pulled out a tablet, screen glowing in the dim light. Nathan's empire isn't as clean as it looks. There are investments his mother made. Deals that would destroy the Blackwood reputation if they came to light. Offshore accounts. Shell companies. Money laundered through charities. Emily's stomach dropped. How do you know this? Because I helped him hide it. Vivien's smile was bitter. 2 years ago, before Olivia gave her ultimatum, Nathan was trying to build something legitimate. Something separate from his family's corruption. He asked me to help him document everything his mother had done so he could leverage it against her. Become independent. What happened? His mother found out. That's when she made the deal. Marry appropriately, or she'd make sure I went to prison for the fraud I'd helped document. Vivien's hands clenched around the tablet. Nathan had a choice. Save me or save himself. He saved himself. He always does. Vivien held out the tablet, but I kept copies. Every document, every transaction, everything he needs to take his mother down, everything you need to destroy him if you want to. Emily stared at the screen, at the files that represented years of corruption. Why are you giving this to me? Because you asked what my plan was. Vivien's eyes glittered in the darkness. This is it. You have 3 choices, Emily. 1, you expose this at the gala and destroy the entire Blackwood family. 2, you use it to force Nathan to set you free without strings. Or 3. 3? You give it back to him and let him finish what he started. Vivien's voice softened. Let him take down his mother, become the man he was supposed to be before she destroyed him. Emily looked up sharply. You still love him. I loved who he could have been. Vivien turned away, shoulders rigid. But that man died the day he chose power over me. The question is, can you see past the monster he became to the man he's trying to be? I don't know what I see anymore. Then don't decide yet. Vivien pulled out a flash drive, pressing it into Emily's palm. Take this, study it. In 3 days, you'll stand beside him at that gala. What you do with this information is up to you. Emily's fingers closed around the drive. It felt heavy. Like a weapon. Like salvation. If I expose this, Nathan goes down too. I know. You'd let that happen? After everything? Vivien finally looked at her, and Emily saw something raw in her expression. If he's still the coward who sacrificed us both, then yes. He deserves to burn. But if he's actually trying to change, if there's any part of the man I love still in there, then maybe he deserves a chance to make things right. You're asking me to save him. I'm asking you to save yourself. Whatever that means. The warehouse door burst open. Nathan stood silhouetted against the afternoon light, chest heaving like he'd been running. Step away from her, Vivien. Nathan. Emily moved between them. What are you doing here? I had you followed. His eyes were wild, desperate. After that text, I needed to know if you were safe. If she was manipulating you. The only person who manipulated me was you. Emily shot back. Nathan's gaze locked onto the flash drive in her hand. What did she give you? The truth. Emily held it up. Everything your mother did. Everything you helped hide. Your entire empire built on lies. Nathan's face went white. He looked at Vivien. You kept copies. Did you think I'd just let you destroy me without insurance? Vivien's voice was ice. You made your choice, Nathan. Now Emily gets to make hers. Emily, please. Nathan took a step forward. Whatever she told you, whatever's on that drive, let me explain. Explain what? That you're as corrupt as your mother? That everything about you is a lie? Yes. The admission stopped her cold. Yes, I helped my mother hide her crimes. I thought if I played along, if I proved I was just like her, she'd give me control and I could fix it from the inside. But she never planned to give up power. The deal with Vivien, the marriage to you, it was all about control, keeping me dependent, keeping me complicit. So why not expose her yourself? Emily demanded. Because I'm a coward. Nathan's voice broke. Because I was afraid of losing everything. Afraid of who I'd be without the Blackwood name. But then I met you. And I watched you survive 3 years of my neglect with more strength than I've shown in my entire life. You made me realize that being nothing with integrity is worth more than being everything built on lies. Vivien laughed, sharp and bitter. Beautiful speech. Did you rehearse that? Vivien, please. Please what, Nathan? Please forgive you. Please pretend you didn't choose money over love. Vivien's composure cracked. You destroyed me. You made me believe we'd fight together, then you threw me away like I was nothing. I know. Nathan's voice was raw. I know what I did to you. And if I could go back, if I could make a different choice, I would choose you. Every time. The warehouse went silent. Emily watched Vivien's face crumble, watched years of anger dissolve into grief. But you can't go back, Vivien whispered. Neither of us can. No, but I can stop running forward. Nathan looked at Emily. That gala in 3 days. I'm going to stand in front of everyone who matters and tell them everything. My mother's crimes, my complicity, all of it. And then I'm going to walk away from the Blackwood Empire with nothing but my name. Your mother will destroy you, Emily said. Let her try. Nathan's eyes held hers. I'm done being her weapon. I'm done being the man who hurts people to survive. Vivien wiped her eyes, mascara smudging. Even if you do this, even if you confess everything, it doesn't erase what you did to us. I know. Nathan turned to her. I don't expect forgiveness from either of you, but I'm asking for one thing. What? Emily's hand tightened on the flash drive. Come to the gala, both of you. Nathan's voice steadied. Stand beside me when I burn it all down. Let the world see what I destroyed to build my empire. Let them see the women I sacrificed. And let them see me finally do the right thing. Emily looked at Vivien. Something passed between them. An understanding, a shared pain that had become something else. If we do this, Emily said slowly, if we stand with you while you confess, we're not doing it for you. Then why? Because we deserve to watch you fall. Vivien's smile was sharp. And because maybe, just maybe, watching you actually face consequences will give us the closure we've needed. Nathan nodded. Then I'll see you both at the Eastgate Club, Friday, 7 p.m. He turned to leave, then stopped. Emily, that contract modification. I'm having my lawyers void it today. You were right. You deserve to be free. He walked out, leaving Emily and Vivien alone in the shadows. Emily looked down at the flash drive in her hand. What if he's lying? What if this is another manipulation? Then we have this. Vivien gestured to the drive. And we can destroy him properly. And if he's telling the truth? Vivien was quiet for a long moment. Then maybe we all get to be free. Emily slipped the flash drive into her pocket. 3 days! 3 days! Vivien echoed. As Emily walked toward the warehouse exit, Vivien called out, Emily? She turned. For what it's worth, I think he actually loves you. Vivien's voice was soft. The way he looked at you just now. That's how he used to look at me. Before everything broke. Emily's throat tightened. Love isn't enough. No. But maybe it's a start. Emily stepped out into the rain, the flash drive burning in her pocket like a live coal. She had 3 days to decide, destroy Nathan Blackwood, or give him the chance to destroy himself. Either way, someone was going to burn. She pulled out her phone and typed a message to Nathan. Emily, I'll be there Friday, but I'm not promising anything except to watch you tell the truth. After that, we're done. His reply came instantly. Nathan, that's all I'm asking for. Thank you. Emily deleted the message and started walking home through the rain. The Blackwood mansion loomed in the distance, marble and glass and cold. She had 3 more days in that house. 3 more days of being Mrs. Nathan Blackwood. And then, freedom or ruin. There was no path left that didn't end in ashes. She thought about the drive in her pocket, about the power it gave her, about the choice that was hers alone. For 3 years, she'd been powerless. Now she held the match that could burn everything down. The question was, did Nathan Blackwood deserve to be saved? Or did he deserve to watch everything he'd ever touched turn to smoke? The Eastgate Club glittered like a temple to old money. Crystal chandeliers cast prismatic light across marble floors, where Manhattan's elite drank champagne and traded secrets. Emily stood at the entrance in a dress the color of midnight, feeling like she was walking to her own execution. Nathan waited at the bottom of the grand staircase. He wore a black suit that fit him like armor, but his eyes were different. Vulnerable. Human. You came. I said I would. His gaze swept over her. You're beautiful. Don't. Emily's voice was sharp. This isn't a date, Nathan. This is a funeral. I know. He offered his arm. She didn't take it. They walked into the ballroom side by side, but not touching. Hundreds of faces turned toward them. Whispers rippled through the crowd like wind through dead leaves. Olivia Blackwood stood near the bar, regal in emerald silk. Her eyes narrowed when she saw Emily, then widened when she saw who was following behind them. Vivien Cross stepped through the entrance alone. She wore crimson, the color of revenge and roses. Every head in the room turned. What is she doing here? Olivia's voice could have cut glass. Nathan's hand found Emily's. She didn't pull away. She's here because I invited her mother. Both of them. Olivia's face went pale. Nathan, what are you doing? What I should have done 3 years ago. Nathan led Emily to the center of the room, Vivien following like a ghost made flesh. The band stopped playing. Silence fell heavy as snow. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan's voice carried across the ballroom. I need to tell you all something. About my marriage, about my family, about who I really am. Nathan, stop this. Olivia moved toward him, but Emily stepped between them. Let him speak. Nathan's hand squeezed Emily's once, then let go. He stood alone in the center of the room, surrounded by the people who'd built their empires on secrets. 3 years ago, I married Emily Carter because her father was dying, and she was desperate. I offered to save him in exchange for her hand. A business transaction. Nothing more. His voice didn't waver. What I didn't tell anyone was that the morning I proposed to Emily, I'd told another woman I loved her. That woman is here tonight. Vivien stepped forward, chin high. The crowd gasped. Her name is Vivien Cross. We were together for 2 years. I wanted to marry her. My mother refused because Vivien didn't come from the right family, didn't have the right connections. Nathan looked at Olivia, and his eyes were ice. My mother gave me an ultimatum. End things with Vivien and marry someone appropriate or lose everything. So I did. I chose power over love. I chose cruelty over courage. Nathan, that's enough. Olivia's voice shook. No, Mother. It's not nearly enough. Nathan pulled out a folder, holding it high. Because that's not the worst thing I've done. For years, I've helped you hide your crimes. Offshore accounts, shell companies, money laundered through charities meant to help people. I have documentation of everything, every transaction, every lie. The ballroom erupted. Voices overlapped in shock and fury. Cameras flashed. Olivia stood frozen, her face a mask of disbelief. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. Nathan handed the folder to a man in the crowd. Mr. Patterson, you're the district attorney. This is yours now. Do with it what you will. Patterson opened the folder, his expression darkening with each page. Olivia Blackwood, you need to come with me. This is insanity. Olivia's composure shattered. Nathan, you're destroying everything your father built. No, Mother. I'm destroying everything you built on his grave. Nathan's voice was steel. Dad would have been ashamed of what you became. What you made me become. Security moved toward Olivia. She looked at Nathan one last time, her face twisted with rage and something that might have been grief. You're weak, just like your father. Good. Nathan's voice softened. I'd rather be weak and honest than strong and corrupt. They led Olivia away, her emerald dress disappearing through the crowd. The ballroom exploded into chaos. Reporters shouted questions. Board members argued. The Blackwood empire was crumbling in real time. Nathan turned to face Emily and Vivien. His face was pale, exhausted, free. It's done. Emily couldn't speak. She'd expected confession. She'd expected consequences. But watching it happen, watching him actually burn everything down, left her breathless. Vivien stepped forward first. You actually did it. I told you I would. I know, I just didn't believe you. Vivien's eyes glistened. For 3 years I hated you. I wanted you to suffer the way I suffered. And now that you have, I don't feel better. I just feel empty. Nathan's voice cracked. I'm sorry, Vivien. For all of it, you deserved better than what I gave you. I deserved the truth. Vivien wiped her eyes. But maybe this is close enough. She reached out and squeezed his hand once, then let go. Goodbye, Nathan. Goodbye. Vivien walked away through the chaos, her crimson dress aflame moving through smoke. She didn't look back. Emily and Nathan stood alone in the center of the destruction. You didn't use the flash drive, Nathan said quietly. No. Why not? Emily pulled it from her purse, holding it between them. Because you needed to choose destruction yourself. If I'd done it for you, it would have been another thing taken from you. Another choice you didn't make. Nathan stared at her. You're extraordinary. I'm tired, Nathan. Emily's voice broke. I'm tired of being strong. Tired of surviving. Tired of living in a marriage that was never real. Then let's make it real. What? Nathan dropped to one knee in the center of the ruined ballroom. Around them, people stopped shouting to stare. Emily Carter Blackwood, I know I have no right to ask you for anything. I used you. I hurt you. I made you a prisoner in a house that should have been a home. His voice shook. But I'm asking anyway. Not for forgiveness. Not for another chance. Just for the truth. What truth? That somewhere in the past 3 years, I fell in love with my wife. Nathan's eyes held hers. I fell in love with your strength. Your silence that was louder than words. The way you survived me when you should have destroyed me. I fell in love with the woman who stood in my kitchen this morning and looked at me like she'd rather be anywhere else. Because that's when I realized you were the only real thing in my entire life. Emily's hands trembled. You don't love me. You love the idea of redemption. Maybe I did. At first, Nathan stood, moving closer. But then you walked into that warehouse. You held that flash drive that could have destroyed me. And you chose to give me a chance to destroy myself instead. You saw the worst of me and still showed me mercy I didn't deserve. That's not redemption, Emily. That's grace. And I don't know if what I feel is love or gratitude or desperation, but I know I don't want to lose you. You never had me to lose. Then let me earn you. Nathan's hand cupped her face, and Emily hated how her body leaned into the touch. No contracts. No obligations. No marble mansion or cold floors. Just us, starting over, learning who we are without the lies. I don't know who you are without the lies. Neither do I. But I want to find out. With you, Emily looked at him, at the man who'd saved her father and broken her heart, at the monster who was trying to become human again. If I stay, it won't be easy. I won't forget what you did. I won't pretend these 3 years didn't happen. I don't want you to forget. I want you to forgive. Eventually, if I can earn it. And if you can't, Nathan's thumb traced her cheekbone, then at least I'll have tried. At least I'll have chosen right for once in my life. Emily closed her eyes. She thought about the girl who'd signed a contract to save her father. The ghost who'd walked these halls for 3 years. The woman she'd become in the space between survival and surrender. She thought about Vivien walking away. About freedom that felt like falling. About love that might be real or might be another beautiful lie. She opened her eyes and looked at Nathan Blackwood. Really looked at him. Saw the fear, the hope, the desperation of a man who'd finally lost everything and discovered it was the only way to be free. I need time, she said finally. Nathan's face fell, but he nodded. How much time? I don't know. Weeks, months, maybe years. Emily stepped back and his hand dropped. You need to figure out who you are without your mother's shadow. Without the company, without power. And I need to figure out who I am without being your wife. So this is goodbye. This is see you later. Emily pulled off her wedding ring, pressing it into his palm. When you know who you are, when you've built something real instead of something stolen, find me. Ask me again, without the mansion, without the name, just you. Nathan's fingers closed around the ring. And if you've moved on, then I'll have my answer. Emily stood on her toes and kissed his cheek. Thank you for finally telling the truth. She walked away through the chaos, through the reporters and the ruined elite, through the wreckage of the Blackwood Empire. She didn't look back. Outside, the night air was cold and clean. Emily stood on the steps of the Eastgate Club and pulled out her phone. One new message. From her father, Dad. Sweetheart, I saw the news. Are you okay? Emily smiled through tears. Emily, I will be. I'm coming home. She started down the steps, leaving the marble and crystal behind. Somewhere behind her, Nathan Blackwood was learning what it meant to have nothing. And somewhere ahead, Emily Carter was learning what it meant to be free. 18 months later, the coffee shop smelled of cinnamon and second chances. Emily wiped down the counter, her hands moving with the easy rhythm of routine. Outside, autumn leaves painted the Brooklyn street in shades of fire. The bell above the door chimed. We're about to close, Emily called out without looking up. I know. I've been waiting outside for 20 minutes, trying to find the courage to walk in. Her hands froze. That voice. She'd heard it in her dreams for 18 months. In her nightmares and her hopes. Emily turned slowly. Nathan stood in the doorway, and he was different. His hair was longer, touched with gray at the temples. He wore jeans and a simple jacket instead of tailored suits. His face had lines that hadn't been there before, carved by consequence and humility. But his eyes were the same storms, only now they looked like they'd survived the hurricane. Hello, Emily. She couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. I know you said to find you when I knew who I was. Nathan took a hesitant step forward. I think I finally do. Who are you? Her voice came out barely above a whisper. I'm a man who spent a year working construction to learn what it means to build something with my own hands. Who volunteers at legal aid clinics helping people my mother's company destroyed. Who goes to therapy twice a week because I'm trying to understand why I hurt everyone I ever loved. Nathan's voice cracked. I'm a man who lost everything and discovered it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Emily's eyes burned with unshed tears. What about the company? Sold. Every asset liquidated. Every dollar used to pay restitution to the people my mother hurt. The Blackwood name means nothing now. Nathan smiled, and it was real. Broken and beautiful and real. I'm nobody, Emily, and it's the freest I've ever been. Why are you here? Because 18 months ago you told me to figure out who I was and find you. So I did. Nathan pulled something from his pocket, not the diamond ring from their contract, a simple band of silver, worn and imperfect. This was my father's, the only thing of value I kept. He gave it to my mother before she became the woman who destroyed us all, before power corrupted everything it touched. Emily's hands shook as she set down the cloth. I'm not asking you to marry me, Nathan continued. I'm not asking you to forgive me or forget what I did. I'm asking if you'd like to have coffee with me. Just coffee. Let me tell you about the man I've become and see if he's someone you'd like to know. Nathan. If the answer is no, I'll leave. I'll never bother you again. You'll be free of me completely. Emily looked at him, at the man who'd been her prison and her catalyst, the monster who'd learned to be human, the stranger who'd once been her husband. She thought about the girl who'd signed a contract, the ghost who'd survived, the woman she'd become in coffee, shops and freedom and learning to choose herself. Don't know if I can forgive you, she said honestly. I know. I don't know if what we had could ever be real. I know. I'm not the same person I was in that mansion. Good. Nathan's smile was soft. Neither am I. Emily untied her apron, hanging it on the hook by the register. There's a diner 2 blocks from here. They have terrible coffee and the best pie in Brooklyn. Nathan's breath caught. Is that a yes? It's a maybe. Emily grabbed her coat. It's a let's see. It's a I'm willing to have coffee with a stranger named Nathan who used to be someone else. I'll take it. They walked out into the autumn evening, side by side but not touching. The Brooklyn streets were nothing like the marble mansion. Nothing like the cold floors in the distance measured in silence. Tell me about the construction work, Emily said as they walked. Nathan's face lit up. It's hard. Physical. I have calluses for the first time in my life. He held up his hands, and Emily saw the rough skin, the evidence of labor. But it's honest. I build things that last, that people can live in. It's the opposite of everything I did before. Do you miss it? The power? Every day. The honesty surprised her. I miss the control, the certainty, but then I remember what that power cost, who I became, and I'd rather have calluses and integrity than everything I lost. They reached the diner, neon lights buzzing in the darkness. Nathan held the door open for her, and Emily walked through. They sat across from each other in a cracked vinyl booth. A waitress brought coffee in chipped mugs. Emily ordered apple pie. Nathan ordered the same. Tell me about you, Nathan said. What happened after the gala? Emily wrapped her hands around the warm mug. I moved back in with my dad. Took time to remember who I was before I became Mrs. Blackwood. Started working here. Made friends who didn't know my name or my story. How is your father? Good. Healthy. He asks about you sometimes. Nathan's eyes widened. He does? He says you saved his life. That matters to him, even if everything else was broken. I used his illness as leverage. I know. He knows, but he's alive because of you. That's complicated. Like everything else. They sat in silence, sipping terrible coffee that tasted better than anything in the mansion ever had. I saw Vivien, Nathan said quietly. About 6 months ago. Emily's heart skipped. How is she? Happy. She's engaged to someone who treats her the way she always deserved. She told me she forgave me. Not for me, for herself, so she could move on. Did it help? Knowing she was happy? Yeah, it helped me forgive myself a little. Nathan's fingers traced the rim of his mug. She said something else too. She said that breaking her was the worst thing I ever did, but meeting you was my chance at redemption. If I didn't screw it up, Emily's throat tightened. I don't want to be anyone's redemption. You're not. You're just Emily, the woman who survived me and came out stronger, the woman who chose freedom over revenge. That's not redemption. That's inspiration. The pie arrived. They ate in companionable silence, and Emily realized something surprising. This felt normal. Human. Like 2 people learning each other instead of 2 prisoners sharing a cell. Can I ask you something? Nathan said as they finished. Anything. Do you think you could ever love me? The real me. Not the man in the mansion, but this version. The one with calluses and therapy appointments and nothing to offer but honesty. Emily set down her fork. She looked at Nathan, really looked at him. Saw the man who'd destroyed her. The man who'd destroyed himself. The man who was building something new from the ashes. I don't know, she said truthfully, but I think I'd like to find out. Nathan's smile could have lit the whole diner. That's enough. That's more than enough. We're starting over. Completely. No contracts. No obligations. No expectations. Agreed. If at any point this stops working, either of us can walk away. No guilt. No pressure. Agreed. Emily held out her hand across the table. Hi, my name is Emily Carter. I work in a coffee shop and I'm trying to figure out who I am. Nathan took her hand, and his touch was warm and careful and new. Hi, Emily Carter. My name is Nathan. I build things and I'm trying to become someone worth knowing. They shook hands like strangers, like people meeting for the first time, and maybe they were. 2 years later, Emily stood in a community garden in Brooklyn, dirt under her fingernails, sunshine on her face. Nathan knelt beside her, planting tomatoes with the same careful attention he brought to everything now. This is nice, Emily said. Yeah? Yeah. Nathan's hand found hers in the soil. I love you, Emily Carter. She'd heard those words before, in different contexts, wrapped in manipulation and desperation. But now, in a garden they'd planted together, with dirt on their hands and no contracts between them, the words sounded true. I love you too, Nathan. Not Blackwood, just Nathan, the man he'd become. I think I have for a while now. When did you know? When you showed up at the coffee shop and offered me nothing but honesty. That's when I started believing. Nathan pulled the silver ring from his pocket. His father's ring, the one he'd carried for 2 years, Emily Carter. Will you marry me? Not for contracts or obligations or to save anyone, just because I want to spend my life planting gardens with you and learning who we become together. Emily looked at the ring, at the man, at the life they'd built from ruins. Yes. They were married in the community garden 3 months later. No marble floors, no crystal chandeliers, just family and friends and tomato plants bearing fruit. Vivien came to the wedding, her fiancé by her side. She hugged Emily first, then Nathan. You did it, she whispered to him. You actually became someone worth loving. I had good teachers, Nathan said, looking at Emily. Emily's father walked her down the makeshift aisle, healthy and whole. He shook Nathan's hand with forgiveness that felt like grace. When Nathan and Emily kissed, it tasted like rain and coffee and second chances. Like everything destroyed and everything rebuilt. That night, in their small Brooklyn apartment with second-hand furniture and walls painted the color of hope, Nathan pulled Emily close. Thank you, he whispered against her hair. For what? For walking away when I needed you to. For coming back when I'd earned it. For teaching me what love actually means. Emily traced the calluses on his palm, the evidence of hard work and honest living. Thank you for learning, for changing, for becoming this. They fell asleep tangled together, 2 people who'd been strangers, then prisoners, then enemies, then friends, then something more than all of it combined. The marble floors of the Blackwood mansion were gone. Sold to someone else, someone who'd fill them with different ghosts. But in a Brooklyn apartment with creaky floors and morning light, Emily and Nathan built something better. They built real, and it was warm. The end.